See the Nether expedition. The familiar whisper of wind through oak leaves was a distant memory. Here, in the heart of the Overworld's wildlands, a different kind of silence reigned, broken only by the rhythmic clang of pickaxe on stone and the occasional hiss of a distant spider. Anya, her movements fluid and economical, chipped away at the obsidian wall, each block a testament to countless hours spent in the deepest caves, battling monstrous guardians for their precious tear-like drops. Beside her, Bartholomew, broad-shouldered and deliberate, meticulously laid down redstone dust, tracing intricate patterns across the rough-hewn floor. Their shared project, an obsidian frame standing stark against the vibrant green of the surrounding forest, hummed with a quiet power, awaiting its final spark. Their unusual endeavor had begun weeks ago, fueled by the fervent pleas of Master Eldrin, the village librarian. Eldrin, a villager of immense knowledge and even greater eccentricity, had approached them, his usually placid emerald eyes alight with an uncharacteristic urgency. He clutched a tattered ancient map, its parchment brittle and smelling faintly of decay, its markings a chaotic scrawl of symbols in forgotten Nether script. He spoke of a forgotten Bastion Remnant, hidden deep within the fiery dimension, rumored to house an artifact known only as the Eye of the Nether. A relic he believed held the key to deciphering a vast, ancient text he had spent his life studying. Anya, ever the thrill-seeker, and Bartholomew, intrigued by the promise of rare materials and challenging engineering, had agreed. The rewards, Eldrin had assured them, would be substantial, though he was always vague on the specifics beyond offering them half his most treasured enchantments. Days turned into nights, filled with the laborious process of gathering resources. They mined veins of gold for piglin bartering, hunted blazes for their fiery rods, and meticulously brewed fire resistance potions, their cauldron bubbling with ominous fumes. Each piece of netherite armor Anya donned felt like a second skin, heavy with the promise of protection. Bartholomew, ever practical, crafted an obsidian shield, its surface polished to a mirror sheen, ready to deflect the fiercest blows. Their backpacks, now bulging with essentials, healing potions, stacks of golden carrots, extra tools, and blocks of dirt for desperate bridge building, felt like anchors, pulling them towards the unknown. Finally, the portal stood complete. Bartholomew carefully selected a flint and steel, the glint of the striking mechanism reflecting in Anya's determined eyes. He struck it, and with a resounding whoosh, a shimmering purple vortex erupted within the obsidian frame, its tendrils twisting like a hungry maw. The air around them grew heavy, a faint stench of sulfur permeating the overworld's clean scent. There was no turning back. With a final glance at the sun-dappled trees, Anya stepped forward, her hand resting on the hilt of her netherite sword. Bartholomew followed, his movements slow and deliberate, his mind already calculating the quickest exit routes. They emerged onto a narrow ledge of netherrack, the oppressive heat immediately assaulting their senses. Below them, a vast crimson landscape stretched to the horizon, dotted with towering fungal trees and rivers of flowing lava. The sky, a perpetually bruised red, pulsed with an eerie glow, and in the distance, the mournful wail of a Ghast echoed through the desolate expanse. This was the Nether, raw and untamed. Their first challenge was simply to navigate. Eldrin's map, though ancient, provided vague directional clues, guiding them through the warped forests where Endermen stalked silently, and across treacherous basalt deltas where magma cubes pulsed with fiery energy. Anya led the way, her senses heightened, constantly scanning the horizon for threats. Bartholomew, ever the engineer, used their limited supply of dirt blocks to bridge perilous gaps over lava lakes, his steps precise, his breathing shallow. a particularly dense Basalt Delta, offered their first real tests. Ghasts, their enormous, tear-stained faces contorted in perpetual sorrow, bombarded them with explosive fireballs. Anya dodged, weaving between pillars of blackstone, while Bartholomew skillfully deployed his shield, deflecting the blasts that threatened to send them plummeting into the fiery depths. His redstone ingenuity proved vital when they encountered a ravine too wide to bridge. He quickly fashioned a makeshift one-way piston bridge, a temporary structure that propelled them across the chasm, collapsing behind them. Days blurred into a single, terrifying journey. They traded gold ingots with cautious piglins in a crimson forest, the creatures eyeing their weapons with suspicion, but accepting their offerings with a curious grunt. They sprinted through a soul sand valley, the ground dragging at their feet, while withered skeletons materialized from the eerie fog, their bones rattling with malevolent intent. Anya's sword flashed, a dark blur against the red sky, felling the skeletal warriors with swift, decisive blows. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of heat and fear, the unmistakable silhouette of a Bastion Remnant rose from the swirling mists. It was a colossal, imposing structure of blackstone and basalt, ancient and weathered, yet radiating an undeniable aura of forgotten power. Towers reached for the impossibly red sky, and gaping archways seemed to swallow the dim light. This was Eldrin's destination. The entrance was surprisingly unguarded, a gaping maw that invited them into the bastion's heart. The air inside was thick with dust and the metallic scent of old gold. Piglins patrolled the upper levels, their grunts echoing through the vast chambers. Anya drew her sword, her grip firm, while Bartholomew readied his crossbow, a quiver of bolts at his side. Their progress through the bastion was a slow, methodical crawl. They navigated treacherous hallways, avoiding pressure plates that triggered hidden dispensers of arrows and pits that led to lava. Bartholomew's keen eye for traps saved them more than once. His warning cries just moments before Anya would have stepped onto a rigged block. They encountered fierce resistance from Piglin Brutes, their axes cleaving through the air with terrifying force. Anya met each charge head-on, her movements a graceful dance of parries and counterattacks, her netherite blade finding purchase with chilling efficiency. Bartholomew, meanwhile, would find an elevated position, raining down bolts or setting up quick, crude barricades to funnel the enraged creatures into Anya's striking range. They delved deeper, bypassing treasure rooms overflowing with gold and enchanted gear, their focus unwavering. Eldrin's map had a distinct marking, a peculiar symbol etched onto the parchment that corresponded to a specific hidden chamber. The deeper they went, the more the bastion felt alive, its ancient stone walls seemingly breathing around them. The grunts of piglins grew louder, more numerous, and a sense of growing anticipation settled over them. At last, they found it. Tucked away behind a cleverly concealed nether brick wall that Bartholomew spent an agonizing hour deciphering and dismantling, lay a narrow corridor. At its end was a single, imposing blackstone door, etched with the same symbols as Eldrin's map. With a shared glance, Anya and Bartholomew pushed it open, revealing a circular chamber, its ceiling open to the oppressive red sky. In the very center, atop a pedestal of polished blackstone, sat not a chest, but a single, pulsating orb. It was roughly the size of a human fist, crafted from what appeared to be pure netherite, yet it glowed with an internal light, shifting from deep crimson to a vibrant, almost painful violet. Eldrin's Eye of the Nether, it hummed with an almost audible energy, a strange, captivating resonance that filled the chamber. Anya reached for it, her fingers tingling even before they made contact. The moment her hand closed around the orb, the chamber erupted. From hidden alcoves, from fissures in the walls, a wave of Piglin Brutes poured forth, their snorts of rage echoing off the blackstone. Leading them was a colossal, scarred brute, its tusks longer and sharper than any they had yet encountered. It let out a guttural roar, charging towards them, its netherite axe glinting menacingly. This was not a skirmish. It was a desperate battle for survival. Anya, clutching the eye, met the brute's charge with a ferocity born of adrenaline. Her blades sang through the air, clashing against the massive axe with a clang that vibrated through the stone floor. Bartholomew, meanwhile, focused on the surrounding piglins, firing bolts and strategically placing blocks to create choke points, buying Anya precious seconds. The room became a maelstrom of grunts, clanging steel, and the rapid thud of footsteps. Anya, with the eye radiating warmth in her hand, felt an unusual surge of energy, her movements faster, her strikes more potent. With a final, desperate lunge, she drove her sword into the heart of the scarred brute, its massive form collapsing with a crash. The remaining piglins, their leader fallen, hesitated, their aggressive roars diminishing to wary grunts. Sensing their chance, Anya shouted, a raw sound of defiance, and Bartholomew, understanding her silent command, grabbed her arm. They ran, scrambling back through the broken wall, leaving the defeated piglins to their fallen leader. Their escape from the bastion was a blur of frantic running and desperate leaps. They stumbled back into the open nether, gasping for breath, the eye of the nether clutched tightly in Anya's hand. The journey back to their portal felt miraculously shorter, as if the nether itself was urging them away. They stepped through the shimmering purple curtain, the cool, familiar air of the overworld washing over them like a balm. The gentle chirping of crickets, the rustle of leaves, had never sounded sweeter. They collapsed onto the grassy ground, their bodies aching, their minds reeling from the ordeal. Days later, back in the quiet safety of Eldrin's library, the Master Librarian examined the eye of the nether. His emerald eyes widened, a slow smile spreading across his wrinkled face. He didn't speak, merely nodded, a profound understanding passing between them. He gestured for Anya to place the eye onto a small, ornate pedestal in the center of his library. The orb pulsed, casting a vibrant, shifting light across the ancient texts, illuminating glyphs that had long remained undecipherable. Anya and Bartholomew watched, a quiet satisfaction settling in their chests. They had faced the fiery perils of the Nether, battled its formidable inhabitants, and uncovered a forgotten secret. The purpose of the eye remained a mystery to them, a deeper layer of Eldrin's arcane studies, but their part was done. They had ventured into the unknown, and returned not just with a rare artifact, but with a renewed sense of their own courage and the enduring strength of their partnership. The Nether would always call, but for now, the quiet beauty of the Overworld and the promise of future adventures was more than enough.